I know I already shredded Overwatch like 3 times already, but with the release of Marvel Rivals, I just could not help myself. I just had to talk about it again.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it!
As I'm sure we all know, peak Overwatch was something to behold. It was special. It had such potential. I am very sure that it could have been one of the best games of all time. But then, Blizzard decided that they didn't like how popular their game was. So they thought, what are the things that our players would want in this game? And then they did the exact opposite. That is why I hate this game so much. If a game releases as a piece of shit, right? I don't expect it to turn into anything other than a piece of shit. I mean, it had no hope anyway, so it doesn't matter. But a game like Overwatch is rare. It had the potential to be popular for a really long time, but they soiled it.
You were the chosen one!
Blizzard made awful decisions. Took too long to balance heroes. Took too long to provide updates to the game. Not to mention the multi-year content drought for absolutely nothing, by the way. And multiple times, they failed promises to the community, which eventually burned the bridge with most players, leaving it as a dead game. And I swear to God, if you tell me, well, technically it's not a dead game, there is still a decent amount of players left, I am going to push you off of a cliff. Look, we all don't have the privilege of being shut down like Concord. So by dead game, I mean with significantly less players as before and no real future of gaining more. And we all know that part is true. And in my opinion, a good chunk of people playing Overwatch are just people who like that hero shooter MOBA mix, but can't really find it anywhere else. I know I was like that. I would constantly find myself getting annoyed with Overwatch and Blizzard's bullshit and leave to go find something else to play. But whenever I got the itch to play a hero shooter type of game, like Overwatch, I would have no choice but to play Overwatch because there was no alternative. It's kind of like if you're craving a delicious, meaty steak, but there's only one steakhouse in your entire area, so you have to be willing to make some compromises on the quality, if you know what I mean.
Holy fish paste, what is that?
And in this case, Blizzard was the steakhouse. And let me tell you, they were in no hurry to improve their steak. But now, it's different.
Avengers! Assemble.
Last month, a new hero shooter called Marvel Rivals came out, and it has absolutely dominated. It has been amazing so far, and completely surprised everyone. And I'd be willing to bet Blizzard were the most surprised, because not only is Rivals also a hero shooter, but in the last month since it came out, it looks like it has solved a ton of issues that players had with Overwatch for years. And the devs actually seem to be listening to the community and making smart decisions. Everyone complained about 5v5 forever in Overwatch 2, but they were too stubborn to admit that it was a mistake. Rivals has 6v6. The entirety of Overwatch people were trying to solve the annoying meta changes and broken heroes that took way too long to fix and left it so most heroes were pretty much unplayable, and there's a few that were just so broken that you kind of had to play them, or else you were pretty much throwing. But in Rivals, they came with hero bans, which means if there's a hero that the community deems as too broken, you can just ban them, and it leaves all the other characters that are not banned to be viable without the fucking broken ones making it so you have to play them. And that way, even if the devs take a while to update the broken heroes, you can still just ban them. It gives the players more choice on who they don't want to play against. And the last big thing I can think of is role queue. And now I know this one's a little more iffy because there's a lot of pros and cons to whether you want role queue or not. But I think we can all admit nobody wants to wait in a 10-minute queue to play a 10-minute game. That's just not fun, and nobody's going to really want to do that. And Rivals comp is open queue, which gets you into a game in seconds. It also allows for you to have way more team comps available and way more flexibility in the game. You're not stuck in one role, and you're not stuck in 2-2-2. A small change that is really nice to see about how Rivals actually values their community is that they don't lock heroes behind a battle pass, and when you buy a battle pass, it never expires. Unlike someone else we know. Oh yeah, and one more thing is that Overwatch took forever to make every single change, including adding content. Even when you take out the 3-ish year gap of no content, they still only release one hero every season, every 3 months. Well, in Season 1 alone of Rivals, they are releasing 4 heroes and 3 maps. I know it probably won't be like that every season, but maybe 2 heroes a season. It's still a crazy amount of content compared to Overwatch. And the thing that makes Overwatch players the most mad is that Blizzard told us for years that none of this was possible. Every time the Overwatch community would say, why don't we try hero bans? Why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? They said, no, it's not possible. It can't be done. Stop doing that. You're expecting way too much from us. It's just not possible. And then Rivals comes in here and fucking does it immediately and proves that whole time it was actually possible. Blizzard just refused to do it, or they couldn't. If only Blizzard was as good at making a game as they were at gaslighting their fucking player base, they would have the best game ever made. It's so funny to see the Overwatch community go over to Rivals and be so happy when they see the smallest things that are good, like not locking heroes behind a battle pass, or making smart decisions with actual logic and reason and explaining that to their community about why they did stuff, or even just updating the game in an efficient manner. The amount of surprise and the reaction is hilarious. It's exactly like when you've had an abusive, gaslighting ex for so many years, and then you leave her and you finally have a good partner, and you're just waiting there, expecting something bad to happen at any moment, and every single small thing they do is such a surprise because you are so used to being treated like shit. Anyways, yeah, Rivals good, Overwatch bad, blah, 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 blah. See you later.